Hello everyone, this is Riche here to give you a sort of tutorial, I suppose you could say. I got a canvas fresh out of my box of thin canvases. They're good for practicing, and I think today I'm going to try out a pine tree. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to mix up a color, and you don't normally use color right out of the painting tube. You usually mix your own color. So for this I'm going to do some dark green and maybe a touch of deep yellow. I don't have any yellow ochre left. And maybe, just maybe, if it doesn't turn out how I want it, some burnt umber. And I'm going to do highlights, of course, which I'm going to do with yellow, more yellow than green, and maybe a touch of white. I got some black over there too, but I don't think I'm going to use that today. And this is sort of a tutorial on painting pine trees, or evergreens if you call them evergreens, with acrylic paint. Now for mixing paints on, I have this, it's called acrylic paper, and it goes in this little container here, and you're supposed to wet it. There's a sponge that goes on it, and this is of course just a regular sponge, so it's a little, I think I need a new one. It's really dried out, it's even cracked, see? So, but you wet the sponge, then you wet the paper on both sides, but I did none of that because I just want to quickly get some paint out and just have it right there. So as you can see, I already did something Friday, and this is now Monday, so that's dried up, of course. I didn't preserve it like I should. So dark green, I'm going to squeeze out just a little bit because I'm only doing one, maybe two trees. When you're doing it with an actual painting and not practicing, try to do an odd numbers. It looks better, and it's sort of the artist's rule to always do things in odd numbers. Like I do that with, that's a little bit more than I should have gone. Look, dried up paint. It looks better, really. So that's like with even seagulls that I do. It's usually you do it with odd numbers. So when doing pine trees slash evergreens, it depends on what you call them. I call them pine trees. Try to use a flat brush, and you get the chiseled edge by doing, let's see if I can show you this in your, here, let me show you this with the paint on both sides once you get on your brush. So I'm going to try to do this now. Now when mixing paint, you have to be very careful not to contaminate any of your paint. So what that means is getting one color in with the other on your actual like squeeze out. So take some green and put it over here. And of course, wash our brush out because we want it to be nice and clean. That's another thing I should tell you. Always have a cloth on hand. It's very nice to have, let's just say, when you're painting. It comes in handy quite a bit. And I'll just dry the brush. It's good. Your paint will start, while you're painting, it will start to dry out. But see if I can tap any of that water off it. So always have a spray bottle like I have over there, so you can always keep it nice and moist. So just mix that together. That's sort of an okay color, not quite what I'm going for. I'm gonna go against the rules here and contaminate it. See, that's what I mean, getting that green there. That way, it's more so when you're actually doing an actual painting, because then you'll get green. Let's say you're doing maybe the sunlight shimmering in the water, let's say. So you want some yellow, but then you're going to get green in your, let's say, Bahamas water picture, and that doesn't happen. So then chisel it like this, like I showed you. Get nice and straight edge. See that? Nice and straight. So now what I'm going to do is, for the trunk, just do a straight line right up. Just a straight line. You don't even have to fill it in. Just straight line for the trunk. Doesn't even have to be straight. You could do it crooked if you want to. Okay, so now I've got two things of paint holding up the camera so you can see what I'm doing. It won't mess me up. So then use the corner of your brush and start your pine trees. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Nature doesn't make everything perfect. So just fill it right in. See, as you go down, you want to get thicker, so I just use my whole brush. Not all parts of your tree have to be straight, and you can even leave some spots, because like I said, it's not a soldier. Everything isn't perfect. So I'll just get some more paint here. Always get a lot of paint on your brush, like right here now. And at the bottom, just really fill it right up, because that's thick down at the bottom. Maybe I'll do a little bit more just to give it life. So now, like I said before, we're going to do another one. I might do 3 because, like I said, odd numbers. So we're going to start, let's do it right over here. I need to get a chiseled edge. Do you see that? See how that's like that? Need to get some more paint and chisel it out like I showed you. And then, doesn't have to be all that perfect. So I'm gonna go higher up because, like I said, nature doesn't have soldiers, so it's not all the same. And really, it's kind of hard to paint with the camera right there. So this one, we'll do a nice full tree. And that looks nice. Let's get some more paint. Like I said, full brush. Always have tons of paint on your brush. It's not perfect. Leave some gaps in there. Not too many or else it'll just look silly. I might actually fill these in. And that sort of starts to make it look like a nice tree. It's a big storm going on outside. Well, wind anyway. Just got 20 centimeters of snow and it's unreal. So there's that. Yeah, I am in Canada. Big whoop, won't fight about it. And so I want to do one more tree. Because like I said, odd numbers, even though this is just practicing, it's sort of good to get into the habit. Those are beautiful trees I just did now that I look at them. And so for this one, I thought maybe not pine trees, maybe a regular tree. I've done birch trees and maple trees as well, but I think for this one I'll just do a regular old looking tree. Now for this, I'm going to take some burnt umber and some titanium white. And this will make our trunk. I was thinking of doing sort of a gray color like I've done before, and that painting sold basically instantly. But I think this time I'm just gonna do sort of a light brown and add some shadowing and lighting later. Phew, smell the paint. Well, you can't, but I can. Paint has a very distinctive smell to it, of course, which you probably know painting your house or something. Maybe you're an artist like me, I don't know. But, so take some of this. It's not, acrylic paint doesn't smell as bad as oil paint. Oil paint is the worst. I mean, it smells like fish oil. And you actually gotta be kind of careful not to be around it too much, because it's not real healthy. So, come over here to the painting. As you can see, I sort of painted right in the middle of the canvas. And suppose I'm just going to do a real basic trunk right now, because sake of the video. I don't want it to take up too much time, right? So, and of course this trunk will really pop out later once I put some shadows and lighting on it. You want 3 colors. Your main color, then a lighter color for lighting, like the sun shining on the tree, and a darker color for, of course, shadows. And I'm going to branch it off right here into these branches. And then what you do is you take a liner brush, and off of these branches you make more little branches, right? So I'll put, like I said, odd numbers look best. So there, sort of branches out there, and I'll take the liner brush and show you how to make little twigs coming off it. And then I'm gonna take a sea sponge, take some very nice fall-y colors, even though it's January right now, and I'll make some nice pretty foliage. Okay, so I've got my liner brush, and you just roll it through the paint. Just roll it right through the paint. Just so you know, it's really hard to mix with these brushes, by the way. And then sort of take it up to a point by doing that. Now over to our painting. Oh, it smells like paint here. Just take it and make some leaves off it by rotating it like that. Or some twigs, sorry, some other branches. Need a lot more paint on this brush. So just make some twigs off it like this. I get really shaky doing this part for some reason. I don't know why, but see if I can just, they're supposed to be real fine, but it's hard to do that. I need to mix up some more paint here, just a sec. Okay, let's see if this helps the cause any. Again, it doesn't really have to cover that bad, because that is really, this liner brush is the worst liner brush you could possibly own. It sucks. So I think I'm gonna make up for these sucky twigs by putting a lot of foliage on there. Look at that. This liner brush sucks. Liner brushes are supposed to come out right to a point. Tell my liner brush that. Look, you can see where I've had to snip bristles off it because it was so horrible. There, that's a little bit better. See if I can make that a nice point. Of course I can't with this liner brush. I've got one downstairs for oil painting and it works really nicely. I think that's all I'm going to do because this liner brush is really bad. Now my cat loves sea sponges, so she decided to chew up all the brand new sea sponges I just got. There's quite a bit in a bag. This is what remains. So this just actually came undone. So yeah, that's my sea sponge. So I took some of our deep yellow and some brilliant red and I mixed it together to make this sort of orangish. It's not really the best orangish. I should have put some titanium white in with it. Actually, I'll dry off the brush I was just using and I'll actually do that right now. I'm still thinking of it. Still got a little color on it, but that's okay because that's the color we're using. So I'll do little X's sort of almost there. That's a nice looking color forming there. There, right there. That's nice. take it all in. Nice salmon-y color, which is okay because salmon is a nice color. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this horrible looking sea sponge and just do this, really. You see how that makes an imprint? And then this is what it looks like. So take this here and see, it just makes some nice looking leaves. And at the end of this video, I'll put a annotation that gives you the link to the Facebook image of this one of my best times using one of these sponges. So there's that, and I'm gonna be bad and go right into my brilliant red here, right with that color. See that? And just pop it in here and there. Red against orange looks really nice. So just give it some depth. I was going to put some yellow in there, but I seem to have ran out, and that looks really nice. So there's your sponge after. I try to rinse it out in some water. Now it doesn't get the color out, but it does work nicely for, actually it sort of does get the color out, doesn't it? So, and this is just a sponge from the sea. And so, yeah, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse out my brush that I was using. It's still got quite a bit of color in there, doesn't it? Sometimes you gotta really scrub these brushes. There. So I like cleaning brushes in oil paint because there's always a grate that you have to really scrub it against to get all the excess water and liquidy excess paint off it. Where am I? Oh yeah. So that's a lot of fun. Really get your anger out from that. So now I'm going to try and make sort of a highlight for the tree. That's sort of working a bit nice. Got lots of paint to do this. So here, and for doing trees like this, just make a quick swoop motion. It works best when you don't let the paint dry. Acrylic is wet on wet. So you do little swoops because trees are rounded, right? So that's not really coming out because I went and did the top of the tree and let this dry. I'll try to fix that. Again, it's harder to paint with a camera right in front of you. So now I'll go and make the shadows on this side. That's sort of coming out better. Yeah, sort of better. I'm going to go ahead and sort of blend this together like that. Okay, that looks okay. Now I got an idea. While painting this, I'm going to take this little tiny brush and I put out just a tiniest bit of black, and I'm going to make a little animal's hole right there. So an animal has a home there. And there. That's the best I can do with a camera in my face. So that's 2 pine trees and 1 regular, I'd say probably a maple tree. So there they are. Maybe you learned something. Maybe you just wasted 10 minutes of your life while eating chips and drinking iced tea. I don't know. See you next time.